But it's always, always 1,000 times worse when the person is a child or a baby, someone in the dawn of their lives who haven't begun to live their lives. The picture behind me is of Zanaya, and that will always be haunting because it was taken just a short time before the evidence shows that she was never seen or heard from again.
This is one of the most difficult cases that I have been a part of. The tragedies that happened to this little girl touches each and every one of us. And unfortunately, she lost her life at the hands of someone who should have been concerned about her safety.
Today we are charging Jarvis Butts with 1 count of first-degree premeditated murder, 1 count of criminal sexual conduct in the second degree, and 1 count of child sexually abusive material. Mr. Butts targeted and befriended women who had to have sexual relationships with their young daughters. He would have relationships with their mothers, but his true desire was to have sex with their young daughters. That's what the evidence will show. He was a classic and expert groomer and pedophile.
Now, Nazia's body has never been found, but prosecutors allege that Butts killed the teen after he found out that she was pregnant with his child.
We must be very careful who we let into our hearts and our homes and our lives. Life can be hard enough at times, but when it comes to our children, we must be deliberative, we must be diligent, and laser focused on their safety.
I know you're feeling the heartbreak, but you've probably also have steam coming out of your ears. I mean, these are the types of cases that really get you angry, especially when you talk about an accused killer like this who has a history. Like this wasn't out of the blue. This was someone with a documented history. Joining us now to talk about all this, Court TV field reporter Cody Thomas. Cody, great to see you. Walk us through this case.
So, of course, Vinny, we have 13-year-old Nazia went missing January of 2024, about a year ago now. We have 41-year-old Jarvis Butts, who's charged with her murder. Now, along with those murder charges, he's facing other sex crimes, sexual misconduct, criminal possession of sexually abusive material involving a minor. And Vinny, you just mentioned the documented history of Jarvis. So who is this guy? So let's walk back through some of his rap sheet. He was convicted of sex crimes in 2005, served a 10-year prison sentence, got out in 2015. When he was charged last September with Nazia's murder, he was already in custody for 2 separate sex crimes charges relating back to 2015 when he got out of prison after the 10-year sentence for other sex crimes. So again, well-documented history of this guy. Obviously there's a sickness here. And all of this considered, Vinny, a woman that used to be engaged to Butts in the preliminary hearing today took the stand to tell the court that she still believed that he was a good father figure. Now, he's fathered over 10 children, including 5 with Nazia's aunt. But take a listen to what that woman had to say at this hearing today.
Did you ever talk to him about why he was so secretive with his phone?
Yes.
And does it have something to do with the fact that he was seeing other ladies?
Yes.
And you suspected that at the time?
Yes.
And so that's why you were looking for proof?
Correct.
Okay. So even though you suspected that Mr. Butts was unfaithful to you, you still stayed with him?
Yes.
One reason for that is because he was good with the kids?
Yes.
He cared for your kids?
Yes.
He took them places?
Yes.
He took your son up to the shop?
Yes.
He showed him how to change the oil in the car?
Correct.
And you viewed him as a good father figure?
Yes.
Did you ever see anything inappropriate or that would cause you to see a red flag with regard to him and your children?
No.
Did you ever see him acting inappropriately with any other children?
No.
Now, Vinny, despite what this woman says, of course, the prosecutors still allege that he intentionally befriends and targets women with younger daughters that he could somehow swoop in there and have sexual relations with them.
Right, and his history was known to a certain extent. It wasn't like it was a mystery, like this guy just showed up in town. Everybody kind of knew his reputation and who he was.
No secret.
And it wasn't, and yet still able to get access to Nazia. Now she's missing, has not been found. What's the status of the search? Where have they, are they hopeful that they could find her?
Well, they are still looking, and prosecutors say they have a mountain of evidence against Butts, generally speaking. including over 100 gigabytes of video surveillance of him in different areas. Now, Neziah was last seen on a school bus, getting off her school bus January 9th of 2024. She went and hung out with Butts. They checked into a motel at 9:30 p.m. that same day. Neziah was never seen again. Now, prosecutors say that he was the next day, January 10th, in the area of the Rouge River in Detroit. And investigators on the stand during that preliminary hearing today say some of Neziah's clothing was also found at that location. Take a listen.
Wow.
Did you come across any clothing that you thought maybe would fit the description?
Yes.
Okay, and where was that at?
That was south of 7 Mile and Berg, near a abandoned structure next to a dirt parking lot. About, I can't give an exact distance, maybe 50 feet off the river.
What is it that you found in this case?
I found I don't know if this is the right term for it, but like a onesie.
Okay.
It was mostly balled up in the brush with a shoe inside of it. And so I pulled I didn't know it was clothing at the time, but I pulled it out of the brush just to kind of open it up and see what it was. And then once I saw that it was clothing with the shoe inside, I just reported it to the incident command.
Okay, and when you're touching these items, are you wearing gloves?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall, describe the onesie, color, size, anything like that?
Pink.
Okay.
Honestly, the size, small.
And what about the shoes? Or shoes, the shoe that you
It
found.
was a
sorry.
small Nike shoe.
Okay.
And
Sorry.
it was inside the onesie, which was inside out.
And of course, Vinny, as we continue to hear more and more of this testimony like this in this hearing, more evidence continues to point towards Jarvis Butts.
Absolutely, and it looks like that is a likely spot where he may have attempted to, or got rid of her body. You've got a body of water there. Over the course of time, the body moves, things happen.
Right.
Well, how does he get access? What do we know about the relationship between the victim here, Neziah, and this accused killer?
So, of course, he was at some point dating Neziah's aunt. Again, he had 5 children with Neziah's aunt, and as prosecutors say, he intentionally got with women that had younger daughters or nieces in their families that he could have sexual relations with. Now, Neziah lived with her maternal grandmother, so her mom's mom. Neziah's great aunts, there's a lot of family members here, Neziah's great aunts say they were aware of abuse between Jarvis Butts and Neziah going on dating back to 2022. They even called Child Protective Services.
And they called CPS.
They called CPS to the home where she lived with her grandmother, but CPS didn't really do anything. The grandmother said that she doesn't interfere with her children's kids. Overall, nothing was done. Now, that grandma took the stand today in the preliminary hearing and told the court that she was aware that Butts and Neziah would hang out, and she even told the court that Neziah worked for Butts at his auto shop. Take a listen to this.
Did you know Neziah to go to Mr. Butts' place of work to assist him with anything there?
Yes, there was a couple of times that she went with his daughter and they went up there to go clean up at his shop.
And how would they get it? If you remember?
He would come and pick them up.
And was that in that white truck that you talked about earlier?
Yes. Mhm.
Benny, of course, prosecutors allege that Butts and Neziah also traded sexually explicit texts, sexually explicit images, just really disgusting stuff. But we'll continue to hear about more evidence because this preliminary hearing continues tomorrow on Wednesday with 6 more prosecution witnesses. So I'm sure we're going to continue hearing more and more
Of these details in this case. And the poor girl didn't have a chance.
Not at all.
She didn't have a chance. I mean, she's being groomed and victimized. People know about it. They call CPS, and no one was there for Neziah. Cody Thomas, thanks so much. Appreciate it. All right, folks, when we come back, I will reveal something else you need to know tonight, plus coming up next hour.
Tonight on Vinnie Politan Investigates, former beauty queen Lindsay Shiver was in the midst of a steamy affair with her Bahamian boyfriend when prosecutors say she plotted to have her husband killed. But did she really want him dead? Tonight, we investigate.
Time to reveal something else you need to know tonight. Let's take a look at our big board, and what do we have? Mangione's friends speak out. The so-called accused CEO killer, rich Ivy Leaguer, Luigi Mangione. Since the shooting, friends of his have begun to speak out, two of which had met him in Thailand and traveled around Asia with him. They joined TMZ to describe the experience, but chose to remain anonymous.
Is there anything you can think of looking back that now kind of makes the light bulb go off on what he is alleged to have done?
From what we can say, he went to a shooting range in Thailand. That's something we can tell. Like the day we went to the beach, he was at the shooting range before that.
Tell me what he said about it.
It was expensive. I felt like he felt his way was the right way to do stuff.
When he had something, he had a very strong opinion about it. And I think he will let other people know.
Perhaps a little arrogant, some narcissism. Accused of murdering Brian Thompson, the CEO over at United Healthcare. We'll continue to bring you all the updates in this case. Right now, though, I need you to take a look at your television screens. We have a missing child who needs your help. This is Joseph Bruce Stewart, just 15 years old, missing out of Grand Junction, Colorado since the 2nd of January. If you see Joseph, please pick up the phone, make a call. You can call 911, 1-800-THE-LOST, or you can call the Grand Junction Police Department in Colorado. That phone number's on our screen right now. This is the only photo available of Joseph.